Hello South Asians and welcome to our studio here at TV South Asia as we chat with a very renowned and established Indian classical vocalist Mrs. Gauri Goha. She has been performing all over the world for the last 35 some odd years, and thank you once again for joining us here in our studio. Of course, singing is just one of the hats that you wear. There's just so much else that you have achieved, and you have also served as a cultural officer in South America, right? So tell us a bit about that.
First of all, thank you very much for inviting me to be here in a very short notice. Well, all I can think about is the hats, if you say, that I am wearing or have owned. Music has always been my first profession and passion. It's my life. Along with it, I have done few, studies and some courses and some degrees. So I utilize them by working in the corporate world, which I'm doing for a very long period of time.
Yes, you work in Scotiabank in Canada.
Yes, Scotiabank.
Right.
Yes, I do. And prior to that, I was sent by the government of India to, the ICCR to Guyana as a cultural officer and music teacher. So I taught music, and what I really understood being there, that the role of a cultural officer is not just, or the music teacher is not just teach music, is to connect with the local people, to understand where they are and what their likings are, what their dislikings are, and how can you help. At least you can change their focus. So I'm really grateful that I got that opportunity, and I was there for 3 years. And I have left Guyana in 1980 because I came to Canada for a series of performances, and I was offered by a Canadian musician a job. And in my first sight, I loved Canada. So I moved to Canada. My family also moved with me, and I have been there for from 1982 until now. I love that country. The reason I love that country is there are enormous amount of opportunities, which I realized when I went there for my performances. And being there, and Canada being the land of opportunities, I think I have utilized my time very effectively. I did the things that I always wanted to do, and that country supported me doing that.
But your link from South Asia and
Yes,
from
I am.
India
Yes, I
has
am.
never been broken.
No.
You have successfully traveled, not just performed, but even taught. You were just telling me about your trip to Sri Lanka as well.
Yes, I
and
did.
your love for that nation. So tell us a bit more about how your experience was in
Sri Lanka. Well, every year I come to India and Europe for my performance tour. So last year, January 2009, I went to Sri Lanka, and I performed for it's an organization who looks after the orphanages and the people in need, and I performed for them, and it was an evening entirely where I sang, and the experience was priceless. The treatment, the friendship, the honor, everything that not only I received, my husband received from them, something which we will always remember. And I found the humility of the people. They're all professionals. They're very successful in their own fields, but they're so humble, and they're spending their time and money and energy for those who are in need. So I will always remember Sri Lanka and the people that we interacted with.
So you, of course, are known as a classical vocalist, as I said earlier. You also work as a senior management person in a bank.
Right.
You also wear the hat of a motivational speaker. How did you step into that from this field of music?
It's a very, very valid question. To be honest, for some time, I was actually feeling from within that I need to do this. It's interesting that many times in my life, things have happened the way I wanted it to be. It comes to me first, and then it happens. And then once I decide, then I put my heart and soul and work towards it. The reason I wanted to become a motivational speaker was because I have gone through a lot of changes. Some of them are good, some of them are not that good, in a sense that they're painful, they're stressful. So the things that I've learned, and you always learn when you are in difficult situation. So the things that I've learned by moving from country to country and going through difficult time. Being in Canada, I was there with my younger daughter for 6 years, just by myself and her. I studied, I worked, I looked after everything, and of course I pursued my music. So the things that I experienced, I want to share it with people, because there are people who are coming to that country new, and they should know they are not alone. Everybody, regardless of their profession or their educational background or financial status, everybody had to go through some hardships. Some people did more than others, and some people took more challenges. Definitely, when you take more challenges, your hardships will be harder than other people. But I never found any situation discouraging. Any challenges that came in my way, I tried my best, and I always saw the light at the end of the tunnel. So I wanted to share that, and fortunately that happened, and I will tell you how. I perform for Asian Heritage Month Festival. It's a festival which takes place every year in the month of May and June all across Canada. So I've been performing for them for the last many years, and one organization, it's not only they promote cultural programs, there are a lot of other things, sports and literature and lectures, lots of other things take place. Right. So there was an organization called Passages to Canada. They are the people who they register speakers. Okay. So one day I received an email. I was talking to my daughter, saying, something, I want to do it, but I didn't know how. And neither I actively tried.
Pursued it. Right?
Yes, I didn't. And I got that email. They're looking for the speakers from the community leaders. And the moment I received it, I instantly contacted them, and by next day, I was a registered speaker. Sharing
and giving these lessons that experience has taught you, of course.
Yes, and basically what they do, they send you in schools, colleges, and then communities to talk about basically what made you come to Canada. What are the things that you experienced? What did you learn? So what are your messages? So basically that's all their format is, but it's all up to you that how you want to customize according to the need.
Right.
So that's how the whole thing started.
So how do you manage to balance, Mrs. Guha, this hectic schedule of yours, wearing so many hats, being a part of so many different mediums, and keeping, I think, the process of learning even continues for yourself.
Right.
So how do you balance this? You have to share that mantra with us.
Well, there is no mantra as such. The thing is, you really have to know what you want. At any time of your life, you need to know what is that you want. So once you know what you want, it's like knowing an address. So once you know what you want, and then you prioritize. Because if your needs and wants are more than 3, maximum 4, it's very difficult to achieve, not because you are not smart enough, but because you don't have enough time to, for anything you need to invest time. So I always knew what I wanted, and I know what my priorities are. So once that is already set, so you then customize your day. 24 hours are not going to extend to 25 hours, right?
Unfortunately, yes.
No,
they remain the same, yes.
They remain the same. And it is you who has to manage that time effectively. How many of that hours you want to spend and how effectively you want to spend. It's not the amount of time, it is the way it's the quality of the time that you utilize. Yeah. So I prioritized, every day I prioritize, every day I know what my schedule will be like. And being in that country, it is possible because nobody wastes your time. That's one of the best things.
And you were also telling me earlier that one of the things that you do is to realize which are the things you want to achieve in a day and drop the things which you know are not realistically possible to complete within the day. So that way you don't have the frustration lingering on to the next day.
Absolutely. One time we went to a seminar, and then the facilitator gave an example. there was a glass box, and there are some big stones, there are some small stones, and there are some sands. So what he did, he said, arrange this thing in that box. So people tried in many ways. There somebody put the small thing first, and then the sand, and then stone, but they couldn't fit it in. The rule of thumb and the message is that organize your big stones first, that means big work first, and then the little things will fall in place. So if you know what is that you want, then you have to categorize your priorities. The first level of priorities, second level, and third. So the first priorities, you are going to do it. The second one, which some of them can wait, they are not life-threatening. So you then, eliminate those. And certain things you decide not to do, like you mentioned, we were discussing before you came to the studio. Once you decide that those are the things I'm not going to do, that is not going to cause you any frustration. But if you think, I have to do, but I'm not doing.
Right.
That's why, many times doctors recommend the reason, in order for you to avoid stress, you do not procrastinate.
Right.
Not procrastinating is one of the keys to stay away from stress.
So if you think of it now, then you do it now.
Yes.
Right.
If you have to do it, you decide. Actually in life, you don't have to do anything.
Right.